here's the car that everyone said it wouldn't sell well. Well, 3 years later, this thing has outsold the Supra by 200%. The Nissan Z proved everyone wrong. And today, I'm gonna show you why. When the Toyota Supra was first introduced, there was going to be a BMW and a Toyota vehicle. People didn't like it. In fact, if you go back to the original post of the Toyota Instagram account, you will see all the hate comments that the car received. We don't like it. It's not a real JDM. It's not a Toyota. It's a BMW. Although it was a marriage between two great companies, BMW and Toyota, a marriage that lasted longer than the average marriage in North America. But things changed. Why? People started loving it. In fact, BMW owners bought a Toyota, although they knew that it was a BMW under the hood. I personally said that was the best thing to come out of that marriage, a beautiful child that everybody loved. Well, not initially. Which brings me to this. This is not a marriage. In many ways, this a single parent kind of thing. The Nissan Z was initially in the same situation as the Supra. I remember people saying, it's just a reskinned 370Z. It's not going to be as fast. They didn't realize it was a different engine. It was a different design. The interior, yes, it's similar to the 370Z. But what's important is the fact that this is a real JDM. This is what you'd call a real JDM. In fact, it comes straight from Japan, unlike the Toyota Supra that comes from Germany, not so much Japanese. So, what did Nissan do right that this thing succeeded to outsell the Toyota Supra? Well, in my opinion, there are 6 important factors. So we'll analyze them one by one. First is the heritage and identity. The Z name has always had a loyal following. It feels like a true Nissan sports car, not a borrowed chassis. The second thing was the fact that the Nissan Z was available in automatic and manual. Now remember, the Toyota Supra initially was only available in automatic. You can only get the ZF 8-speed. This thing came straight with the 6-speed manual transmission. And here's another important fact. They actually sold more manual transmissions Z than automatic. And another thing that you need to know, the one that we have for today's video, is the Nismo Z. And this thing in 2026 will be available with a 6-speed manual transmission. So that's something to really appreciate about the Z. The third thing was retro modern. It was a clear inspiration of the 240Z and the 300ZX. Now, the Supra looks sharp, but in many ways it was polarizing and still is. Next thing, the engine. What we have under the hood, it's a very popular engine that Nissan has used it, well, for a while now. The VR30. 3-liter V6 twin turbocharged. Unlike the 370Z that had a naturally aspirated V6, this has a really great engine, inspired a little bit by the Nissan GT-R, but that's a 3.8-liter V6. This is a 3-liter V6. It's a rear-wheel drive vehicle, which means it's a lot of fun to drive. It is offered a 6-speed manual transmission or 9-speed automatic transmission, which is better than the 370Z. The base model makes about 400 horsepower, 350 torque right off the bat. That's already a lot of horsepower for a vehicle that weighs about 3,600 pounds. Meanwhile, the Nismo makes about 420 horsepower or so. So they bumped up the horsepower because it's the Nismo version, and you get quite a lot with the Nismo on the outside in terms of design. You get better wheels, better brakes. It's got a different body kit, different choice for colors. The interior is different. You got a different steering wheel, different seats. So there's a lot added to the Nismo, plus the overall chassis has been tuned differently for the Nismo, so it drives very different to the standard Nissan Z. But let's just talk about the performance version. You're already getting a V6 twin turbo, a great machine for a very light vehicle. And I think that's what drew people into buying this, because there's nothing out there that you could get close to this. And the fact that you can purchase a base Nissan Z for the same price as a BRZ or a Miata, that just tells you a lot. And to end it, the Nissan Z was a lot cheaper, more affordable than the Toyota Supra. Plus, maintenance is a lot less expensive compared to the Toyota Supra. And then we have the last thing, which I think is the most important thing. When Nissan initially launched this, people that want it went and bought one, they ordered one. Some overpaid, some paid MSRP, some just gave up their own orders. So what that did is change the market completely. Let me explain. Initially, they sold a bunch of cars, and then the people that bought those cars 2 years later decided, well, maybe it's time now to move on to something else. People tend to change cars. There's people out there that change them every year. I have done it multiple times. Therefore, the used market was competing with the new market and vice versa. So Nissan decided, we're going to reduce the price so they can get more people into their cars. But you might be thinking, that's because they couldn't sell a lot of cars. Well, yes and no. Yes, it's because they already had sold and now they have used market. So people were kind of, because this car got caught in the COVID time. So let's keep that in mind. It was during COVID time that was going on, that people bought them, overpaid, the dealers were asking too much money. I understand, I've seen the comments and I'm with you on that. Initially, dealers were going insane, especially the Proto one, $80,000 Canadian. Then things cool down. And usually, personally, I don't buy the first car right away because I know there's usually a demand, there's over MSRP, and on and on and on. But Nissan decided that they were going to reduce the price, and they were very smart to do that. See, when they introduced the cars initially, they include a discount in the original price. Therefore, down the road, they can reduce the price so they can sell more. Every company does that. That's not rocket science. Some do it through the leasing rates, some do it through the financing rates, some, like Dodge, for example, they just extend the lease rate till you die. Nissan, thankfully, didn't need to do that. They managed to reduce the price, and that's a good thing because now we can all afford a Nissan Z. Even the base model, you're looking at paying the same price as Miata, which, by the way, the Nissan Z outsold the Miata in the US. That's insane to think about it. You're getting so much for the price. And another thing about this car is how it drives. When it comes to driving, one of my favorite things about the Nissan Z and the Nismo is that they're raw. They are pure. They're mechanical. They're very old school. And that's something to appreciate about this car. Now, when it comes to the Nismo Z, I understand. It is a little bit pricey. I will not argue with you on that. And I actually said that myself in the first video I did. But when it comes to the base performance, all those packages coming with the Nissan Z, not the Nismo, you are getting a steal. There's nothing out there JDM like that. The Supra is not a JDM car. It's a BMW. That argument, it's already been settled. Yeah, Toyota had some involvement. Yeah, Toyota did the design, blah, blah, blah. But it is a B58. There's nothing JDM in that car. Every time I jump into this, I feel like I am in a JDM car. I love the analog gauges. I love that they capped that. It doesn't have any power seats. I don't care. I love manual seats. It doesn't have any fancy gadgets like wireless charging pad, none of that. There's USB. I don't care about that. It has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. That's all you need. When you buy a sports car, you're not really looking for tech. You're not buying a daily SUV. You're buying a car that is hopefully light, that it's fast. It's a twin turbo V6. You put a tune on this bad boy and you got yourself an absolute monster. It's just unbeatable price. I just saw one used with 20,000 kilometers for $42,000, performance Canadian. That's $34,000 USD. A freaking Miata cost about 45 grand in Canada. It was like $38,000 in the US or more. What else do you want? Yes, the Miata is smaller, lighter, blah, blah, blah. This is a twin-turbo V6. It's not even an inline 4, which, by the way, Toyota is going to make it. I want one. I'm going to be honest about that. I want one. I have one problem with both cars. This car and the Supra have only 2 seats. Now, if my other car breaks down, I'm kind of stuck with the 2-seater, but I have a child. So it's like, it's a difficult choice for me. I would rather have something with back seats that, in case of emergency, I can make use of it. This, on the other hand, is 2 seats. So for me, it's a little bit difficult. And if I bought this, that means I'll have to have a third car, which, you know, a daily for another daily kind of thing, just to have it as a backup, because you just never know. And for my job, I need a camera car and I need to travel to places, so I'm always in need of a car. Now, I could use press cars, but at the same time, it just defeats the whole purpose of having a second car if you can't make full use of it, in my opinion. So that's why I have the Focus RS and a second car, which is probably not revealed yet. But that's why I have the Focus RS, because the Focus RS has 5 seats in total. It's got 4 doors. I can actually make use of it, and it's a lot of fun to drive. It's a steal of a deal, and you just can't beat it. Let me put it that way. You can't freaking beat it.